Hey, what's up guys, OSG here, and it's been a while since I did a proper video with being on holiday, but I'm back now with a video that has been in the pipeline for about a year. Yes, a year. But that's not down to the difficulty of making it, it's down to the difficulty of satisfying Amstrad fans, as today we will be taking a look at the 20 best Amstrad CPC games released after the Amstrad's demise. So way back I mentioned this video to Xyphoe and he came back with a huge list of games for me to check out, which I did, but I couldn't decide which ones I really liked, and as I have no real connection to the system, I knew that any decisions I made would have been scrutinised by the community. So I made a shortlist and gave it to Xyphoe, who did a 6-hour stream on it to find out which should be in the top 20 and in what order. Obviously not everyone was happy, but you can't please everyone. Anyway, intro over, let's take a look at the 20 best Amstrad CPC games released after the Amstrad. Kicking us off in 20th place we have Tyre. So let's face it, the 8-bits weren't the best when it came to racing games, apart from a handful on each system. But in Tyre we have a pretty slick pole position type game that gives a real sense of speed. I do have issues with the crashing though, which results in jumping in the air, boogie boy style, and slowing down to a snail's pace, then being hit from behind constantly as you try to speed back up. Other than that, it's great. Next up in 19th place we have The Adventures of Timothy Gunn. Now I can remember Xyphoe playing this and raving about it, but I just didn't like it and nearly left it out. But he begged me to give it another go, and do you know what? It's not that bad. It really reminds me of Cobra. No, not the C64 one, but the Spectrum version, which was actually pretty good. And for an Amstrad game it has some really fast action and yes, scrolling. No flip screen here. Galactic Tomb is in 18th position. This is a nice little run and gun platformer, but I found it quite frustrating in parts to get the jumps right. At first I nearly gave up on it, but I persevered and in the end had a lot of fun with it. It does get a bit monotonous though after about 10 minutes of basically the same thing. Yeah, it's okay, but nothing that sets the world on fire. In 17th place we have Los Amores de Brunilda. Translated as Brunilda's Love, in this game we get a game that even rivals Zelda on the NES. Yes, it's that good. Great looking graphics and a soundtrack that actually blows the early Zelda games away. Not my sort of game to be honest, but man what a job they have done with this. And it's decent size too, coming in at about an hour to complete if you know what you're doing. Sixteenth place is taken by Scramble. So this is a remake of the arcade classic, and if this list was about how close to an arcade game this game was, then this would definitely top the list, as it's a near perfect conversion. Anyway, looks, gameplay and sound wise it's difficult to tell the two systems apart, and we got an old classic for the Amstrad which is brilliant, but nothing really blows you away due to the age of the original game. The Shadow of Saragoth is in 15th position. There was a bit of a discussion about this game in a Xyphoe stream, as for me dungeon crawlers haven't really aged well and they aren't a genre that I would go and play these days. But there's no denying as far as dungeon crawlers go on the 8-bits, this is right up there with the best of them, in terms of graphics and the eerie feel that was essential of this type of game. Like I say, not for me, but if you're a lover of the genre then you will like this a lot. In 14th place we have R-Type. Anyone who played the original R-Type on the Amstrad knows that that game was diabolical. So much so it wasn't even a specky port. It was an emulation of the Spectrum game running on the Amstrad, which was slow, jerky and no fun to play. Thankfully in 2012 Easter Egg released R-Type 128K, which is a brilliant version of the game. Maybe still not the best 8-bit version, but a marked improvement on the dog shit that was originally released. 13th place is taken by Bobble for CPC. Again, this was a redo of a failed original attempt of an arcade classic. The original Bobble was a true abomination on the Amstrad. It was slow and looked like crap and played even worse. This one was excellent and apparently is very close to the arcade with multiple endings. Gameplay wise though, this is leagues above what the Amstrad owners were subjected to originally. Barbar's Palace is in 12th position. So when this list originally came through, this game wasn't on it, and after seeing it on Xyphoe's stream I knew that it must have been overlooked, as the game is great. I mentioned it and hey presto, it made the final 20. If you like games that take a little bit of grey matter work, then Barbar's Palace is for you. It quickly ramps up in complexity though, and will have you pulling your hair out and be as bald as me in no time. In 11th place we have Puzzle Bobble. So I have mixed feelings on this, as I was a tester on the C64 version of this game, and in my eyes that version is much closer to the arcade game. This one however diverges from the arcade, but in a good way, with great backgrounds and level design to celebrate the great games on the Amstrad. Even if I like the C64 version better, there's no denying that this is a brilliant version of the arcade classic for the Amstrad. 10th place is taken by Mega Blasters. So this is a game that I questioned initially, because to look at it's definitely not the greatest game, but to exclude a game on looks alone goes against my saying that gameplay is always king. And in this Bomberman type game, gameplay is certainly king, as this is brilliant. It's also maybe worth pointing out that this was one of the first homebrew games released after the Amstrad's demise. CPC Soccer is in 9th position. So we all know that Microprose Soccer was the best top-down football game on the 8-bit micros. Well, it still is. But that doesn't mean that CPC Soccer is crap, because in no way is it. In fact, it's right up there with Microprose on how well it plays. It's very SWAS, kick-off-like in looks, and has loads of speed, and if you're into your football games, you will love this. In 8th place we have Orion Prime. When I first started looking into this list, Xyphoe mentioned this game repeatedly, as he knows that graphical text adventures aren't really my thing, but man, if there's one game on this list that's polished like a diamond, then it's this. So much so I'm getting right into it now, which is unusual for me with an 8-bit graphical text adventure, but, and I'm gonna say it here first, this isn't just any graphical text adventure, this is the best 8-bit graphical text adventure I've ever played. The atmosphere is like nothing I've experienced on the 8-bits, and those graphics are to die for. 7th place is taken by Relentless. The Amstrad was never known for smooth scrolling, and I remember it always being my go-to gag when the AMS mob would go on to me about the brown colours of the C64 when I saw this game on one of Xyphoe's streams, and it's as smooth as butter. Being a shoot 'em up fan, I love this, although it does become a bit of a memory game like Delta. One more thing, Big Juffer, who really hates the Amstrad, likes this game, so it must be good. The Sword of Iona is in 6th position. So this is a game that topped the Spectrum video, and this was the first version of Sword of Iona I saw. Yeah, you guessed it, on Xyphoe's channel. Anyway, even though it isn't as good as the Specky version, it's still brilliant and well worth playing, as it's a proper thought out action puzzle platformer that will have you playing for hours. In 5th place we have Super Edge Grinder. You will shortly be aware that this top 10 is heavy with shoot 'em ups, which for me is a good thing as I love the genre. Anyway, Super Edge Grinder is a brilliant side-scrolling shoot 'em up. It's a shoot 'em up with a difference though, as in this one you get points for touching the background, which was normally certain death in most shoot 'em ups, hence the name edge grinder. Fourth place is taken by Red Sunset. So Red Sunset is a weird one for me, as personally I like it better than any other game on this list. It's just a perfect combination of awesome gameplay and a kick-ass soundtrack. I have played this game ever since finding out about it, and I never get tired of it. If you're into shooters, then this one will be right up your street. It's another one that Xyphoe loves too. The Abduction of Oscar Z is in third place. Now I'm sure that a lot of you will be watching now and thinking, wow, that game looks class. But when you find out it was made for a retro dev competition that appeared out of the blue, and unlike some of the games on this list, doesn't use no extra add-ons, hardware, expansion carts, and it's all on just 64k, well that makes this game ridiculously good. The only thing wrong with it is, it's too short. In second place we have Alcon 2020. This is a 25 FPS version, and the devs insisted that I play this game on CPC emulator, as it uses 6 channels for the music, and the music is brilliant. As far as arcade shoot 'em up conversions go, this is right up there with the best. This is super smooth, and if you loved Alcon, or as we knew it over here, Slap Fight, you will love this. Of course though, I love it, as the original game was made by Toplan, who is my favourite developer of shoot 'em ups. And now, in first place we have Pinball Dreams. So, pinball games, love them or hate them, there's no denying what they accomplished here with porting Pinball Dreams to the Amstrad. Now I'm not going to go all stupid here like many Amstrad fans do and say this is better than the Amiga version, because it's not, but for an 8-bit it's outstanding. The ball physics are perfect, which is the most important thing in a pinball game, and the graphics and music just show off what the Amstrad was truly capable of. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm still not an Amstrad fanboy, but games like this make me realise that bullying that kid at school for owning a CPC may have been wrong. Just joking, I hate bullies. Anyway, please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more great retro content. Also, if you like these games, get on over to Xyphoe's channel where he covers all things Amstrad. One more thing, if you want to support me on Patreon like these quality people going up the screen right now, get on over to my Patreon channel where you can pledge for as little as $1 that will get your name in the end credits, video requests, giveaways and more in the future. Till next time, this is OSG, signing out.